that. But we actually have a whole lot of like ornamentals that we can go with, but the most classic one that everybody hears about, and we always talk about, pansies aren't pansies. They just brush off that cold weather most of the time. I have seen them stay alive. So pansies, very, very cold hardy flower and available in multiple different colors and readily available on the shelves of your nearest big box store.
So they are easy to grow because I had bad luck with them for some reason. I don't know if it was a fungus or something we got, or I don't know. But I do see them; they're growing hardy. In the winter.
Exactly. They will continue to persist through the winter. Things going wrong with them. I have had some in raised pots not do quite as well for some reason. I have not pinpointed what that is myself, but in the ground, I have them do wonderful. And when we're planting them in the ground right now, might I suggest to everyone in north central Oklahoma to go ahead and water that area today a couple of times to try to get the soil loosened up just a little bit. I've had some people have trouble taking soil samples right now where you're supposed to go 6 or 8 inches deep, just simply due to there is no soil moisture in those top 8. Yeah, it is very, very dry. So a note, when we transplant these new plants, we are going to have to water them quite a bit. Even the bulbs that we're going to talk about that you're going to put down inside these pansies as well. They need water during the winter. These bulbs do. Even though they're quote unquote dormant or under the ground, they need water during the winter. So all of these we are going to have to water during this time period. And people sometimes forget during the winter that, our trees, our shrubs, our perennial plants, our bulbs and stuff like that definitely need water during that time period. And at least the long-term forecast seems like we're not going to bust this drought. We might get back to some little bit rainier weather, but we're not going to quote unquote bust it and build up that soil moisture again.
A very dry winter.
Yes, exactly. But go find yourself some pansies or snapdragons. If you've never heard of snapdragons, they're very, I think nifty is the right word for the plant. Yeah. If you pinch the flower, it like opens its mouth and kind of looks like a little snapping at you type thing.
That's where they get the name then.
Yes, exactly.
And they're beautiful too.
Oh yeah, tons of different colors. I know they come in orange. Go Pokes.
There you go. You gotta throw that in there.
Yeah. So I know they come in orange, and you can go ahead and plant kind of like a carpet of pansies and snapdragons, and then in between them we'll plant our bulbs, whether that's tulips, irises, daffodils, lilies, gladiolas, and then even hyacinths and stuff like that. And there's probably more available at the store if you saw them. But any spring flowering bulb, once those temperatures get up to the right temperature in the spring, it's going to let those bulbs come up, and you're going to have this carpet of color, and then your bulbs are going to come up and flower and poke through it. They don't care if there's a big old thick mat of pansies and snapdragons. It's going to shoot their little green leaves right through that.
And have a beautiful garden.
Exactly. And it's kind of fun. You wonder when your tulips are going to come up and bloom or something like that. You kind of try to pinpoint the day or the weekend. And hopefully our tulips and irises will be better off this year than they were last year, which was they sprouted, they bloomed, we had heavy winds, it blew all the petals off.
I had the same problem.
So,
and then they're like, and then no more bloom.
Yeah, no, it only blooms. It only puts up one flower. Yes. Yeah. So unfortunately, last year our tulips kind of got beat up by the wind there. But that's what we have to talk about today. Planting some winter or some plants that'll persist and give you color throughout the winter, and then also having some spring flowering bulbs. It's getting to be that time to put those in the ground, and you can do all of this all the way up until like November pretty comfortably. So if you want, we don't have to rush this weekend is what I'm getting at. Yeah.
With snapdragons, real quick, back to them. I did not know that they were something that would come back every year.
Yeah.
I had no idea until I was talking to you this morning. So I had no idea.
Pansies can kind of do the same. I've got one set of pansies on the east side of my house, and it's an area that I water consistently in that, and it's persisted and flowered.
Do you protect them or do anything special?
For these ones, I did not.
Wow. So
you probably
maybe it depends
could.
on which side of the house you're planting them on.
I think it has to do with the heat. They're not very heat tolerant. But it's on the east side of the house, so it's getting afternoon shade. And 2, there was a bunch of other plants kind of growing around it. So maybe it was getting shaded and cooled down, a little microclimate, as they call it. That could be
why I had trouble with my pansies. Then it could be possibly where I planted them.
Possibly, yeah. So look to put them during the winter. It doesn't really matter, but if you want them to grow, into April and May and stuff like that, they probably need to be on the east side of your house or an area that gets plenty of shade. Okay. Yeah. All right, 2 events coming up. Tuesday next week, K County Master Gardener Fall Workshop. We're going to be making baskets and bookmarks. This is free to the public. We will be at the, why am I forgetting it? First United Methodist Church Pavilion on 7th and Oklahoma. That is directly behind Ponca City East Middle School on Grand. So we're just a couple blocks behind there. We're going to be doing that. And then you're going to get to hear me talk about using pesticides safely to protect our pollinators. We'll go through kind of like the decision-making process of whether we need to spray or not, and stuff. Then we also, on October 13th, we have a veteran beginning farmer meeting at the Ponca City Armory. Any veterans who are interested in getting started on farming or hearing more about aid that is possible for veterans and that are farming and actively running an agribusiness, please go register for the event. I will be posting on Facebook and social media shortly, hopefully by the end of the day, knock on wood.
It's on your day.
Yeah, but hopefully I get that posted out there and you can register. If not, just give us a phone call at the K County Extension Office, and I will send the information to you via email. We got to have a certain amount of people to attend this, and we're still below that amount.
Is it only open to veterans?
Yeah. So with it, the program is geared towards veterans. Let me say that.
What if you have a veteran in your family? Maybe you could, and they can't attend that day. You could come for them.
You could come and learn the information, or if you're just a beginning farmer that's interested in this type of information, you certainly could come. But the program is geared towards veterans. Yeah. We're going to talk about some programs that are specifically geared towards veterans, and I mean, you could just silently play on your phone during that time.
Information they can get. Yeah. Well, it sounds like some great information, though, helpful to get them started.
Yeah, and it has to do with working with USDA, NRCS, ODAF, Oklahoma Department of Ag, Food and Forestry, and a couple of other programs that do provide aid to those people.
Okay, that's Thursday, October 13th, and then the other event is 9 to noon. Tuesday, the 4th.
Next Tuesday, coming up. So, yeah.
Hard to believe it's October already.
I know, right? Bonnie said it was her birthday, and she was like, "Yeah, it's September 30th," and it hit me today that it's the last day of September.
It's the last day of September.
And nothing like enjoying this fall weather, which is only a high of 90 degrees out today.
Yeah, so, and you can do your planning now for spring next
exactly
year. So
that's what we're all about.
Right.
So
and if somebody needs some information, they can call you in Newkirk at the K County OSU Extension Office.
Correct, 580-362-3194, or reach out on social media, K County OSU Extension, or at County K.
All right, thanks for coming in, Shannon.
Thank you.
Always some great information. Keep it tuned to 99.
Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Doing well. Shannon is from the K County Cooperative Extension, Oklahoma State Cooperative Extension Office here, K County, and settling in, nice and settled into that new office area, right? It's been a couple months.
Not to brag, but we love it. It's awesome.
Really? Is it? So much different than you're no longer living out of boxes.
No, we're not. We're pretty fully moved in. Yeah.
All right, good.
To quote the movie Step Brothers, there's so much more room for activities. It's just you're not on top of each other. Walking down the hall, 2 people can walk down the hall at once.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Nice. That's wild.
Yeah, used to the other hallway was like
you don't
2.5 foot.
You don't have to yield. You don't have to say you go first.
Or do the little shuffle along the wall as you pass each other. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic, and a lot of things happen in that. Do you have folks? I just imagine every day, people bringing in soil samples, and I mean, is it
recently the busy thing? And I think we talked about it real quick on the radio back in like July. Still, we're getting a whole bunch of nitrate samples for forage, so hay samples. And people are bringing those in, and we're testing them with the quick test to see if it's got poisonous levels of nitrate in it. Drought stress causes possibility of buildup of nitrate in certain types of plants and stuff. So we've been having a lot of those. Some days we'll have 5 or 6 people come in with one of those, and along with phone calls about squirrels or something like that, So it's been busy. But it's been good.
Squirrels are so adorable, but boy, they can create a lot of problems. Huh?
Yes, they can. Squirrels in the attic is one of the most problematic things that I've heard people have going wrong. So, anyway,
we want to talk about fall transplanting season, particularly pansies and bulbs. And what can you tell us? Like, what's the best advice? I mean, you mentioned making sure to water that ground to kind of soften it up.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. And then, too, when you transplant them in there, you're already going to have the soil moisture there for that transplant to thrive. We are going, at least in the short-term weather pattern, according to our mesonet, it's going to be a similar dry pattern for the next couple of, like month and a half or so, 30 days or something like that. So we're going to have to use a lot of water. You mentioned it on the bump. We're going to have to use a lot of water if we want to have a good garden or flower arrangement, whatever you'd like to say this year.
And pansies are good with cold weather, right? We don't have to worry about that.
They are not pansies with cold weather.
Okay.
No, they love cold weather. I've seen them have snow on top of them. I've seen them have ice build up on them, and there might be just a little bit of damage on them, but they'll persist and come right through it.
They're tough.
They're tough little guys. I even have 2 plants of pansies still left right now from last November.
Yeah.
It was on the east side of my house. It must be getting afternoon shade and has like a nice little cool microclimate in that area, and they're still persisting through that. So they are hardy little plants. But we'll create a blanket of pansies on the ground with transplants that I've seen them at every place that should have them.
Right.
So
what about snapdragons?
Snapdragons, I have not seen any in Ponca.
Okay.
At the stores, but I do know some places. But pansies and snapdragons are both pretty. Snapdragon's not quite as cold hardy, but they're both cold hardy, come in multiple different colors, and can create a beautiful blanket, so to speak, of flowers in an area. And then we take bulbs at the same time, sometime in the next month and a half, and we plant those bulbs down at the recommended height that they're supposed to be planted in depth, in between those pansies and snapdragons. And then come spring, you'll have them, send their shoot up and send their flower up during that time period. And you have this beautiful spring arrangement that you did all the way back in October and November for that.
Wow.
So it's a very gratifying thing to not have to do anything over the winter except maybe water it. And then you get this beautiful arrangement in the spring. Then after those flower, which this year I think it was March, early April, after those flower, after those do their thing, it's then time to start doing spring gardening on that. That's usually a good sign of when to do our spring gardening. But tulips, pansies, snapdragons, and you can do other bulbs too. So irises, daffodils, lilies, gladiolus, and then even like hyacinths and stuff like that. And there's more. You can find so many more at the store and stuff like that. So.
Really? But no snapdragons? So
I haven't
what's
found
the deal?
Snapdragons yet. I'm sure someone has them, and I just haven't ran into them.
Okay.
But if anybody doesn't know what snapdragons are, they're those cool little flowers that when you pinch the flower, it's got like a little mouth, and it goes like, like it kind of snaps at you.
Yeah.
It's got little. It's not a symmetrical flower. It's got little horns kind of out the top, and people say it looks like a dragon, so it snaps at you. It's a dragon, snapdragon.
Snapdragon. Okay.
We're really creative in the horticulture world with the name of our plants. But, so that's what we have to talk about today, and then we've got 2 events coming up.
Oh.
We talked about it last week. We've got the fall, or K County Master Gardener Fall Workshop. We're going to be making baskets, bookmarks, and you're going to get to hear me talk.
Oh, good.
That will be this Tuesday, October 4th, 9 a.m. to noon, First United Methodist Church Pavilion. That is on 7th and Oklahoma Street, and that is directly south of Ponca City East Middle School, which is 1 block south. So it's free. Just show up. Yep, but at 9 to noon, we do ask that you stay for the whole program so that we have the right number of supplies and people there and stuff. And then we have a Veterans Beginning Farmer meeting coming up the following week on Thursday. So Thursday, October 13th at the Ponca City National Guard Armory over by Dan Moran Park. That's what it's called. Yep, on South Avenue by the ConocoPhillips and stuff. And if you are a veteran and thinking about getting into farming, or you already are, we're going to talk about benefits that are available to you. We're also going to talk about benefits that are available to any beginning farmer. So though it is a program geared towards veterans, if you're a beginning farmer and not a veteran, please do come as well.
Yeah.
I'll be getting some information out on social media, and then I will also, if you need to, you can just call the office and I'll email it to you or get you signed up or whatever I need to do to get your information down for that. But yeah, 580-362-3194 is the number at the office, or reach out to us in any other way.
Yeah, social media. You're all over it. You're everywhere.
We're everywhere but the TikToks.
Right now.
Yeah, we're not doing the TikToks.
Not doing the TikToks. Not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, Shannon Mallory with the Oklahoma State K-County Cooperative Extension Service. Thank you for being on the radio with us.
Thank you, Sean, as I choke my coffee.
Yes. You okay?
I'm good.
All right, good. All right.
Eric Cunningham.